So Scott, I thought I'd just take a few minutes here to stop by and get your take on what the algae growth and the weed growth has meant to you and your family. Now, I know that you've been out here for a long time, and we're on the northeast side of Portage Lake. And so what has it meant to you in terms of your ability to recreate on the water?
Well, we had just a horrible problem with algae this year. The growth was like 30 feet, standing algae about 20, 35 feet, and my grandkids couldn't go in the water. I didn't even want my dog to go in the water because he'd come out with green legs, and then that algae died and decomposed on the shore. I had to pull it up, and it smelled like raw sewage.
So it's a lot of work to keep up with it, and
a lot of work, yeah. And I probably took 15 wheelbarrows of dead algae growth over across the street behind my garage to get rid of it. And there were times when I had people over, Craig, and I had to light tiki torches, not for the mosquitoes, but to try to mask the smell.
So the smell was coming off the water, and it actually was making it tough for you to sit around and enjoy the lake.
And in 45 years on this lake, I think it's the worst I've ever seen.
Sure.
It's a little bit better now. It got broken up a bit. Some of it's died, and I've hauled out a lot of it.
Yeah.
But it was horrible.
Sure. So was it for about 6 weeks or so?
I think it was 5-6 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I started to question whether, I could handle it.
Yeah.
My kids were saying I was obsessed with it, but it's so important for me to provide a great place for my family.
Oh, you bet.
And my friends, and I was embarrassed how bad things were.
Okay. Well, Scott, I sure appreciate your time and everything. It's really, I've known you for a long time. It's been nice to know you as well, and I can tell you're concerned about the lake.
Very concerned.
And I appreciate your time and sitting down and talking. dog for quite a while, and I know you guys wanted to move here to enjoy the lake, and you guys are concerned about what's going on with the weeds and the algae. So one of the things you had mentioned is that you're waiting with your children was it was difficult. Would you talk about that for a little bit?
Sure. This spring, when it got warm enough, like Memorial Day weekend, we came out here to go enjoy the water and the lake because it was getting warm, and I was just so surprised that, I mean, when we bought this like 3 years ago, there was nothing in the water floating around and stuff, and this time there was like gross algae or whatever, I don't even know what it is, floating in the water, and it was gross.
Right. So, and then, so that's actually, as you were saying, your kids, you don't even like your kids to go in it, and your kids, maybe they don't like to go in it, and that sort of thing.
No, my grandbaby's like, Hawa. I'm Hawa. It's their grandma. And they're like pointing, what is that, Hawa? And they're like, get it away from me, get it away from me. They were really like, didn't like it.
Yeah, and then maybe your son and his family, maybe you thought they wouldn't even stay here this whole weekend.
No, they actually did. They left. They've been here for a day, and again, because of the conditions, they took off and went over to Lake Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your dogs, you know, your dog Scrappy likes to jump in the water and stuff and everything. And what do you think about that?
Don't like it. I'm worried about him going in there because I don't know what the long-term effects will be with drinking the water. And speaking of drinking water, my grandbabies, they're too young to understand that don't drink the water. Right. And there she is, sucking it in, spitting it out, sucking it in, spitting out. I don't know what it's doing long term.
Right.
You know, what's it?
Yeah. One thing you had mentioned about is the smell.
Oh, smell is disgusting. I mean, the other day, or yesterday, I was over there trying to clean out the rug, and you could just smell like a sewer smell coming right at you. Just awful. Yep.
Okay, well, Sandy, listen, thank you very much.